Nobody was ready for this. After years of heartbreak, betrayal, and public humiliation, Rasheeda Frost has finally done what fans have been praying for. She's flipped the script, snatched her power back, and left Kirk Frost choking on regret. Because just when everyone thought Rasheeda was still silently suffering in the shadow of Kirk's endless scandals, she walked into the spotlight with a brand new Menand, a revenge story that sent in the entire split love and hip-hop world into meltdown. It all started with one photo. No caption, no tags, just Rasheeda standing on a rooftop in Atlanta. Flawless in red, holding hands with a man no one recognized. Within minutes, Instagram was in flames. Who is he? Where's Kirk? Why now? Fans zoomed in, analyzed his tattoos, his watch, even his reflection in her sunglasses. And then, just as social media was spiraling into detective mode, Rasheeda hit post again, this time, a clip. Her voice calm but cold, saying, "You can only break a woman so many times before she remembers who she is." The internet exploded. Was this a soft launch or a declaration of war? Within hours, gossip blogs were calling it the revenge reveal of the decade. Celebrities started commenting. Even Mimi Faust dropped a cryptic line under the post. "When she glows, he grows bitter." Meanwhile, Kirk was silent, no posts, no responses, no denials. Just digital ghost mode. But insiders say he wasn't silent behind the scenes. Sources claim he lost it when he saw the clip. One producer from the show even whispered he was pacing the studio, demanding to know who the guy was. Rasheeda didn't just move on, she outplayed him on his own stage. Because this wasn't just a breakup. This was payback, calculated, public, and dripping with poetic justice. And the craziest part, the man Rasheeda just revealed might have a connection to Kirk's own past. Yeah, this story's about to get personal. To understand why the entire internet is losing its mind over Rasheeda's latest move, you have to go back, way back to where it all began. Before the rooftop photo, before the new man, before the sweet, calculated revenge. There was heartbreak, humiliation, and a love story that became one of the most talked about sagas in love and hip-hop history. Because Rasheeda Frost and Kirk Frost weren't just a couple, they were an empire. The picture-perfect business duo, the music hustlers turned reality TV royalty. Fans had watched them build everything from the ground up. A marriage, a brand, a boutique empire, and a reputation for being the couple that could survive anything. But behind the camera, cracks had already started to form, cracks that would eventually split wide open for the entire world to see. It started with whispers. Rumors that Kirk wasn't being faithful. At first, Rasheeda brushed it off. She'd heard it all before. Fame attracts gossip. And when you're a woman balancing family, business, and fame, the noise never really stops. But this time, the whispers grew louder. Fans began spotting Kirk out at clubs late at night without his ring. Then came that infamous pool party incident, a clip that every love and hip-hop fan remembers like a scar. Kirk shirtless, surrounded by women, laughing like he didn't have a wife at home. That moment shattered everything. Rasheeda's face during the confrontation that followed became one of the most iconic images in reality TV history. The betrayal was public, raw, and deeply personal. The man she had defended for years, the partner she had built her brand with, had humiliated her on camera and in front of millions. For months, the couple's storyline dominated headlines. Kirk tried to explain, tried to justify, but nothing worked. He blamed the alcohol, the cameras, the pressure of fame. But none of that mattered to fans who saw a woman's heart breaking in real time. Then came Jasmine Washington, the name that turned a messy situation into a full-blown cultural moment. Jasmine, the woman who would claim that Kirk had fathered her child. The scandal exploded like dynamite. Rasheeda, already wary from public humiliation, now had to face the ultimate betrayal, paternity questions broadcast on national television. The emotional roller coaster that followed became love and hip-hop legend. Kirk's denials, Jasmine's tears, the DNA test episode that felt like a live court case for the world to judge. And through it all, Rasheeda held her composure. She didn't scream, she didn't crumble. She stayed quiet, graceful, and strategic. That's what made her powerful. Because while Kirk was spiraling in chaos, Rasheeda was rebuilding. She poured her focus into her business's pressed boutique, her music catalog, her brand collaborations. Fans began to notice the shift. Rasheeda was smiling again, traveling, networking, and reclaiming her independence. Every post, every appearance, every move felt intentional, like a chess player waiting for the perfect checkmate. Still, whenever she was asked about Kirk, she kept it diplomatic. "Marriage is hard," she'd say. "You gotta work through things." But behind that calm tone, insiders say something was changing. One friend later told a gossip outlet Rasheeda was done long before she said it out loud. She was just waiting for the right moment to move in silent sand, strike in style. Years passed, and while the public thought the storm had calmed, the reality was different. Kirk's scandals may have faded from the headlines, but the trust was gone. Every anniversary post felt forced, every joint appearance awkward. And the fans never forgot. Hashtag Rasheeda's verse trended more than once on Twitter. Fans begged her to walk away, to choose herself. But she stayed. She played the long game. And that's what made her revenge so poetic. Because Rasheeda's silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. She watched Kirk rebuild his image, pretending like the past was behind them. She watched him act like everything was fine. She let him believe he'd been forgiven. But quietly, she was working on something bigger, her own rebirth. Sources close to production say Rasheeda began changing her energy around the end of last season. She stopped attending joint interviews. She skipped couple-themed photo shoots. She started taking more solo business meetings and was spotted out more often with her friends and with a particular mystery man who seemed to always stay just out of frame. Fans noticed it first. "There's a glow in her posts that wasn't there before," one follower commented. Another wrote, "When a woman moves different, believe it. She's planning something." Then came the Atlanta Music Awards after-party, where things really started heating up. Multiple eyewitnesses claimed they saw Rasheeda arrive alone but leave in a black SUV, smiling with a man by her side. No one could identify him. The blogs called him the Phantom. And guess who else was at that same event? Kirk, alone. Insiders say the tension was palpable. A few months before that viral rooftop post, Kirk had been quietly negotiating a business deal. It's a potential new venture with an old industry associate named Marcus Devon, a smooth-talking music consultant who used to help Kirk scout talent in the early 2000s. Marcus was sharp, connected, and respected. But he also had a reputation for being dangerous, especially when it came to mixing business with pleasure. So when Kirk saw the tattoos on the arm of the man holding Rasheeda's hand in that rooftop photo, his stomach dropped. That wasn't just anyone. That was Marcus. And suddenly, everything clicked. The late-night calls Rasheeda kept stepping out to take. The events she attended for business. The cryptic captions about real energy and peace after chaos. It wasn't random, it was deliberate. The same man Kirk had once bragged about mentoring was now standing beside his wife, hand in hand, in a photo that broke the internet. The betrayal hit like a bullet made of karma. Sources close to production say Kirk immediately called Rasheeda's phone 12 times in a row. She didn't answer. He texted her, "We need to talk now. This ain't how you move." No reply. Instead, Rasheeda posted to her Instagram story, "Some people don't understand words. You've got to show them." That was the moment Kirk lost it. According to insiders, he stormed down to the Love and Hip Hop set, demanding to see Rasheeda face to face. The producers, sensing reality TV gold, scrambled the cameras. What was supposed to be a casual interview segment turned into one of the most explosive on-set confrontations the show has ever seen. Kirk walked into the room, eyes red, jaw clenched. Rasheeda was sitting calmly in a director's chair, wearing oversized sunglasses and sipping water like she was waiting for this exact moment. "You had to do this." Kirk snapped, voice shaking. "You couldn't talk to me first." Rasheeda looked at him and smiled just a little. "Talk to you." "About what, Kirk? You've been doing all the talking for 10 years. I'm just done listening." He slammed his hands on the table. "You really think running around with Marcus makes you look good? You think that's revenge? You look desperate. Her reply was instant. You think I didn't know who he was? You think I didn't remember every name you ever bragged about? I knew exactly who he was. The room went silent. Even the producers stopped moving. Kirk's face dropped. Wait, he said slowly, realization dawning on him. You did this on purpose. Rasheeda leaned back, crossed her legs, and whispered, Now you're catching on. Boom! The line echoed through the set like a detonation. Kirk stared at her, visibly shaking his head. You really out here embarrassing me like this, Rasheeda? She laughed softly. You embarrassed yourself, baby? I'm just letting the world see what healing looks like when it gets tired of waiting. Fans later described the leaked footage from that scene as chilling. Rasheeda's calmness, Kirk's rage, the sheer tension between them, it felt cinematic, raw, and painfully real. When the clip finally aired weeks later, social media went wild. Memes exploded overnight. You embarrassed yourself became the quote of the year. But here's where the first twist kicked in and it was way deeper than anyone expected. Because right after that confrontation, Marcus went live on Instagram. No warning, no buildup, just a raw, unfiltered stream that sent fans into a frenzy. Standing in what looked like a recording studio, a host said, Everybody acting like they shocked. But let's keep it real, Rasheeda deserves peace. What y'all don't know is, I've known Kirk for years. I watched him play her. And I told him one day that woman gonna wake up and remember who she was. Guess what? She did. He smirked at the camera, then added a line that broke the internet. And since y'all keep asking, you seem the man in the picture. The chat exploded. Thousands of comments, heart emojis, angry faces, screaming caps. What one viewer wrote, he admitted IT. Other commented, this man just outed their whole story. But Marcus wasn't done. He said something even more explosive. Funny how life works, right? Back in the day, Kirk used to brag about the game, how he could keep his girl no matter what. Guess he forgot karma plays chess, not checkers? Then he ended the live with a wink. Fans were shook. Twitter lit up with hashtag Marcus said it and hashtag karma chess. Everyone was dissecting every word, every look, every possible subtext. Some fans were cheering Rasheeda on. She finally found a man who matches her energy. Others warned her, sis, don't let another man play you in the name of payback. But behind the scenes, sources say things were getting dark. Kirk allegedly started spiraling. One producer leaked that he refused to film for days, telling staff, they set me up. This whole thing was staged to make me look like the villain again. Another insider claimed Kirk had confronted Marcus privately at a downtown lounge. The two allegedly exchanged heated words before security had to separate them. Witnesses say Kirk yelled, "You used me to get to her." Marcus allegedly replied, "Nah, you used her first." Meanwhile, Rasheeda stayed silent but not invisible. She began posting soft, cryptic captions that fans interpreted as subtle jabs. Energy don't lie. Peace looks better than pity. When God spins the block, he don't miss. Each post went viral. Every quote, every glance, every outfit became a statement. She wasn't just living, she was performing power. But here's the twist that flipped everything on its head. Just when fans started celebrating Rasheeda and Marcus as the new it couple, a voice memo surfaced from an anonymous account. The clip was only 12 seconds long. But the voice was unmistakable Marcus's. She doesn't know I recorded this call yet. Once this airs, it's all over for him. The internet froze. What call? What was he talking about? Who was him? That single leak turned Marcus from hero to question mark overnight. Was he using Rasheeda too? Was he part of a bigger setup? Some fans speculated that Marcus had been working with producers all along to create the ultimate revenge storyline. Others thought he had ulterior motives, money, fame, or maybe even payback against Kirk for something deeper. Whatever the truth was, one thing was clear. Rasheeda had stepped into a storm she didn't see coming. The woman who had finally taken control of her narrative was now at the center of a new one she might not be writing this time. And yet, even with whispers swirling, Rasheeda didn't flinch. When reporters asked her about Marcus, she smiled and said, "A queen doesn't explain how she moves. She just moves." That line alone sent chills through social media. It became a mantra for fans, a symbol of quiet vengeance wrapped in elegance. But the streets and the cameras were already buzzing. Because what came next wouldn't just shake Rasheeda's relationship with Kirk or Marcus. It would shake the entire love and hip-hop universe. Because the night before the next episode aired, producers received a mysterious USB drive in an unmarked envelope. On it, a secret video labeled Marcus Confession Tape. And when that footage leaked online, the story that fans thought was about revenge suddenly became something much darker. When the mysterious USB drive landed in the producer's hands, nobody knew what to expect. The label on the flash drive read only 3 chilling words: Marcus Confession Tape. It was delivered by courier. No sender, no note, no warning. And when they plugged it in, what they heard would flip everything upside down again. The file began with static, then a deep sigh. Marcus's voice low, almost regretful. "I know they'll find out eventually. I didn't plan for it to go this far. But once you start playing the game, you can't stop until it's over." The video, grainy but real, showed Marcus sitting in a dimly lit room. His eyes were tired, his tone uneven. He looked like a man who'd been keeping secrets and was finally ready to spill them. They wanted a storyline. That's what this was supposed to be. I was supposed to help her rebuild her image, show her as strong, independent, moving on. But it wasn't supposed to become real. He leaned closer to the camera. And now Rasheeda doesn't even know the half of it. The screen went black for a few seconds before the next clip played a voice note between Marcus and what sounded like a producer from Love and Wuv. Hip-hop. The producer said, "We need something bigger this season. Rasheeda's playing it too safe. You've got chemistry with her. Don't force it, but if something happens, cameras will be ready." Marcus replied, hesitating. "So you're saying you want me to actually date her?" "I'm saying the audience loves a redemption arc," the producer answered. "And nothing sells like payback. Help her take control of the story." The clip ended. Producers on set reportedly went pale. Someone had recorded one of their private planning calls. And now the world would see it. By dawn, the footage had leaked. Within hours, Twitter exploded. Hashtag Marcus Confession hit #1 worldwide. Fans who had been cheering for Rasheeda's revenge romance were now furious. Had her healing journey been another TV setup? Had she been manipulated for ratings? They played with her heart for views. One fan tweeted, "She really thought this was real. Love, this is worse than what Kirk did." Others blamed Marcus. The betrayal sent shockwaves through every corner of the internet. Blogs started dropping frame-by-frame breakdowns of the leaked tape. TikTokers synced the confession audio with scenes from the show, pointing out moments that now look suspicious, his overly perfect timing. The producers' reactions, Rasheeda's vulnerable confessionals. Suddenly, the love story everyone had believed in began to crumble. But the biggest question was, who leaked it? Fans speculated wildly. Some said it was Kirk, trying to get revenge. Others believed Marcus himself had released it to get ahead of a brewing scandal. But one anonymous insider dropped the most shocking theory of all. It wasn't Kirk. It wasn't Marcus. It was Rasheeda. At first, no one believed it. Why would Rasheeda expose herself like that? But when journalists pressed for answers, one of Rasheeda's close friends hinted at something darker. Let's just say Rasheeda doesn't get played twice. If she knew what Marcus was doing, maybe she decided to control the narrative before someone else could. The idea sent fans spiraling. Could Rasheeda have known all along? Meanwhile, Kirk, who had been publicly humiliated just weeks before, finally broke his silence. He went live from his studio, his tone calm but biting. "Everybody got jokes about my marriage, about my mistakes," he said. "But let's keep it real. How many of y'all still think she's the victim now?" He leaned forward, staring directly into the camera. "They played me like the bad guy for years. Turns out I wasn't the only one lying." The comment section exploded, half cheering, half enraged. "He's loving this too much. You still cheated, Kirk. Sit down." "Nah, this is karma." She played the game back. But it wasn't over. Not even close. That night, Love and Hip Hop producers called an emergency meeting. They knew they couldn't hide the leak hit was already viral. So they decided to film a special reunion segment titled Rasheeda, The Truth. When filming began, the energy was ice cold. Rasheeda walked onto the set in a black suit. No makeup tears, no fake apologies, just fire in her eyes. Across from her sat Marcus, looking like a man who hadn't slept in days. Kirk was in the audience, arms crossed, smirking slightly. The host began softly. Rasheeda, the internet's been going crazy since the confession tape. Do you want to tell your side of the story? Rasheeda took a deep breath. People keep asking if I was played. No, baby, I was aware. The audience gasped. Even the host blinked. You knew? She nodded slowly. They wanted a story. Fine. I gave them one. They wanted a narrative about a broken woman finding love. I gave them that too. But here's the part nobody expected. Di actually fell for him. And when I realized he wasn't falling back, I decided I wasn't going to be his headline. I was going to be the author. The crowd erupted. Some cheered, some booed, but everyone was stunned. Kirk looked furious. So you admit it. You used Marcus to get back at me. Rasheeda turned to him, eyes cold. You used me for years, Kirk. You built your fame on my pain. The only difference is I built my peace on your lies. The room froze. Then she dropped the real bombshell. Marcus wasn't the only one recording conversations. She reached into her bag, pulled out her phone, and hit play. The audio echoed across the studio. It was Marcus's voice again, but this time, the tone was different. She's not dumb. She knows. But if this works, we both win. You get your ratings. I get my spotlight. And then the voice of the same producer from the previous leak replied, just keep her comfortable until filming wraps. Then we can spin it. The audience screamed. Marcus buried his face in his hands. The producers sitting off stage reportedly bolted out of the studio. The host didn't know what to say. Rasheeda leaned forward, her voice calm but sharp as glass. You thought I was the story. But baby, I'm the one directing the season finale. The internet lost its mind. Hashtag Rasheedans began trending instantly. Memes flooded every platform. One read, she played the player, then exposed the production. Another, Rasheeda really turned reality TV into a masterclass in revenge. Even celebrities jumped in. Cardi B tweeted, this is how you flip pain into power, period. Tamar Braxton reposted the clip saying, that's not petty, that's poetic. Meanwhile, Kirk's smirk from earlier disappeared. He'd thought Rasheeda's revenge was a rebound, but it turned out to be a revolution. But here's where the real twist came, in one that nobody saw coming. Later that night, while the internet was still celebrating Rasheeda's win, a leaked DM thread began circulating. It was between Marcus and an unknown contact saved only as K. The messages read, Marcus, she thinks she ended it. But the network already signed the next deal. K? Good. Keep her close. There's one more storyline left. Marcus. She won't see it coming. Screenshots of the chat went viral in seconds. The internet was torn. Was it real? Was K Kirk? Or someone else entirely? One blog claimed K was actually a network executive, suggesting that the whole scandal, every twist, every leak, had been orchestrated by the network itself to boost ratings. Others swore it had to be Kirk trying one last desperate move to reclaim power. But the scariest theory came from fans who zoomed in on the metadata of the DM screenshot. The device name, Frost iPhone. The implication, Kirk had been pulling strings from behind the scenes all along. And suddenly, the story came full circle. The man everyone thought was broken, outsmarted, and humiliated might have been one step ahead the entire time. As fans began posting timelines, trying to figure out who was playing whom. One final clip leaked from the reunion footage that hadn't made it to air. Rasheeda, sitting alone after filming, whispered to a producer off camera, you ever think maybe we're all just characters in Kirk's story? The producer didn't answer. The clip ended in silence. And just like that, The internet didn't know who had really won anymore. The moment that reunion footage hit the airwaves, the internet imploded. For days, you couldn't open a single app without seeing Rasheeda Frost's name plastered across your feed. The line, "You thought I was the story butt, baby. I'm the one directing this season finale," had become the rallying cry of every woman who'd ever been played, underestimated, or dismissed. And yet, the revelation that Kirk might still be manipulating events behind the scenes left everyone dizzy. Nobody knew what to believe anymore. That's exactly why the story refused to die. By the next morning, #Rasheedans had already been replaced by a darker, more chaotic #who-played-who.fans, bloggers, and even fellow cast members were picking sides like it was the Super Bowl of betrayal. One camp swore Rasheeda was the ultimate mastermind. Other Love and Hip Hop cast members chimed in with their own perspectives. Spice posted a cryptic tweet, "Sometimes revenge ain't sweet, it's strategic." Carly Red went live, saying she'd seen too much behind the scenes and none of y'all know how deep this goes. Even Erica Mena threw shade, writing, "You can play with a woman's heart once, but the second time, she plays with your legacy." Fans ate it up. Every comment became another theory, every emoji a potential clue. Meanwhile, Marcus, the man at the center of the chaos, tried to defend himself. He went live again, this time visibly emotional, claiming he had no idea how the confession tape leaked. "They twisted my words," he said. "It wasn't about manipulating her, it was about helping her get back her story. I cared about Rasheeda. Still do. But when money and producers start talking, things get blurry." The comments were brutal. "You cared. Bro, you filmed her pain for clout. You didn't fall for her, you fell for the camera. You're just mad she played you better than you played her. It's by the end of the stream." Marcus deactivated his account, but even that didn't stop the wildfire. Bloggers began dropping exclusive insider reports claiming Marcus had been paid off to keep quiet. One particularly explosive rumor alleged that Kirk himself had funded Marcus's silence in exchange for signing a non-disclosure agreement about their old business dealings. The plot was twisting in real time. Everyone watching was. Addicted Podcasts dedicated entire episodes to breaking down the timeline. The Hollywood Unfiltered podcast titled theirs, "Rasheeda's Revenge or Kirk's Last Laugh." Another show called it "The Death of Love and Hip Hop's Fourth Wall." They weren't wrong. For years, viewers had debated how much of reality TV was real. But this time, the story had bled so far beyond the screen that nobody could separate production from emotion anymore. The debate even hit mainstream media. CNN Entertainment ran a headline, "When reality TV becomes real life, the Rasheeda effect." In the article, a cultural critic wrote, "What we're witnessing isn't just another celebrity scandal, it's the evolution of televised revenge. Rasheeda's silence became her weapon. Her control of narrative became her victory. Whether staged or sincere, it's undeniable that millions of women saw themselves in her story. Still, there was one shadow hanging over everything: the mysterious DMs between Marcus and Kay." The fan detectives of Reddit had gone full FBI mode. They broke down timestamps, metadata, and photo reflections. Some claimed to have matched K's speech patterns to Kirk's leaked voice memos from years ago. Others swore it was a fake trail planted by the network itself to build hype for another special. Then, the unthinkable happened: a resolution. Clips surfaced of Kirk and a man who looked eerily like Marcus meeting outside his studio in Atlanta. The two appeared to exchange a handshake and an envelope. The video was grainy, shaky, and shot from a distance. But it was enough to reignite every conspiracy. Online, they're in on it together. This whole season was scripted from day one. They're laughing all the way to the bank. And maybe they were. Because while the internet was busy arguing about who manipulated whom, VH1 quietly announced that Rasheeda and Kirk would both be appearing in a new spin-off titled Rebirth: Love and Lies. The announcement was pure chaos. Fans flooded the comments with fire emojis, broken hearts, and disbelief. "I can't believe they got us again." The whole thing was promo. They're both geniuses or demons. Meanwhile, Rasheeda broke her silence with a statement on Instagram. "What's real? What's fake? Does it even matter anymore? All I know is, I turned my pain into purpose, my lessons into legacy. You can love me, you can hate me, but you will remember me." That post hit 3 million likes in 24 hours. Even the harshest critics had to admit it. Rasheeda had won the cultural moment, whether it was truth, manipulation, or pure performance. She had become the face of survival strategy and modern revenge, but behind the applause, the power, and the newfound deals, one quiet question still lingered among her fans. Was she finally free, or just trapped in a bigger story? Because if the rumors about rebirth, love, and lies were true, Rasheeda wasn't done telling her story yet. And according to insiders close to production, the first episode would open with a shocking scene: Rasheeda sitting alone looking into the camera saying, "I told y'all, it wasn't over." The comment sections went insane. The revenge had turned into resurrection, and nobody knew what tore, who was coming next. The premiere night of Rebirth. Love and Lies felt more like a national event than a TV debut. Every gossip outlet, fan page, and celebrity blog had their notifications on. VH1 had been teasing it for weeks with cryptic trailers. Flashing images of Rasheeda standing alone in an empty mansion. Voiceovers whispering, "Every truth has a price." The anticipation was electric. Everyone wanted to know what was left to reveal after all the chaos. When the episode opened, the screen faded from black to Rasheeda sitting in a lavish studio, her eyes steady, voice low. "They called it revenge," she said. "I call it survival." The music dropped. Then came the shocker. Unseen footage from the weeks after the reunion, clips that fans had never seen before. Rasheeda and Kirk were shown meeting privately at a restaurant. No cameras, no producers. Or at least, that's what they thought. Someone had recorded the entire thing. Kirk looked humbled, worn out. He leaned across the table. "You really got me this time," he said, forcing a smile. "Guess I deserved it." Rasheeda replied without blinking. "Deserves a funny word, Kirk. You didn't deserve me either, but I gave you that for years." Then Kirk said something that made fans sit up straight. "You think Marcus did all that alone?" Rasheeda froze. "What are you saying?" Kirk smirked. "You were so focused on getting back at me, you didn't notice who was pulling the strings. Marcus wasn't the plan, baby. He was the pawn." The screen cut to black. Within seconds, Twitter was on fire. What does that mean? Who's the mastermind now? Not Rasheeda realizing she's been outplayed again. But the episode wasn't done. The next segment revealed security camera footage from a production office grainy, time-stamped just weeks before the reunion special. It showed Marcus meeting with two people, one of the Love and Hip Hop producers, and Kirk Frost himself. Viewers watched as Kirk slid a manila folder across the table. Marcus flipped through the papers. "Now wait until you see her truth." The network denied involvement, but fans weren't buying it. The hashtag the truth is next started trending within hours. Some claimed it was marketing for a second season of Rebirth. Others feared it meant something darker, maybe a real-life expose that could end Kirk's career for good. Meanwhile, Rasheeda remained completely silent. No posts, no interviews, no captions. Just a single black and white photo on her Instagram of her reflection in a mirror, captioned, "Sometimes silence is the loudest revenge." Within minutes, it hit 2 million likes. The industry, the fans, the press, everyone knew it. This wasn't just TV drama anymore. This was legacy. Rasheeda had turned betrayal into empire building, heartbreak into strategy. And now she was holding the final card. But as one VH1 producer cryptically posted on X later that week, "Careful who you root for. Queens don't always play fair either." That tweet sent chills through the fandom. Because if Rasheeda's flash drive really contained what fans believed it did, a secret recording of Kirk admitting to masterminding the entire scandal then. The next season wasn't going to be about love or lies. It was going to be about war. And as fans kept replaying that haunting final shot of Rasheeda holding the flash drive, smiling in silence, one question echoed across every corner of the internet. If Kirk wrote the script, did Rasheeda just steal the ending? The comment sections went quiet for once, almost reverent. Everyone knew this was no longer about cheating, revenge, or fame. This was about domination. And in that moment, the entire love and hip-hop universe realized something they'd all been missing. Rasheeda wasn't the victim. She was the storm, so here we are. After years of heartbreak, betrayal, and public humiliation, Rasheeda Frost has rewritten the game not just for herself, but for every woman who's ever been told to suffer in silence. She didn't just walk away from the wreckage Kirk left behind, she built a throne out of it. And now, that one flash drive labeled Kirk's Final Cut has the entire industry holding its breath, because the truth isn't just coming, it's already here. The question is, how much darker does it get when the cameras stop rolling? Was Rasheeda always 10 steps ahead? Or did Kirk pull one final move from behind the curtain? What's really on that drive she flashed at the end of Rebirth? Love and lies. Is it the final nail in Kirk's empire? Proof that Rasheeda's revenge went even deeper than anyone imagined? Fans are split right down the middle. Half say Rasheeda's the ultimate survivor, a woman who turned manipulation into mastery. The other half whisper that she's become exactly what she swore she'd never be, the mirror image of the man she tried to destroy. But one thing's undeniable. The world can't look away, so now we ask you, whose side are you really on? Is Kirk the hidden puppet master who outplayed everyone? Or has Rasheeda become the queen of poetic payback? Was this a story of revenge or rebirth? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, because this isn't over. The next chapter of Rasheeda's saga could break the internet all over again. And you'll want front row seats when the truth finally drops. Hit that like button if you believe Rasheeda's already won. Smash subscribe if you think Kirk's about to drop the ultimate counterattack. And don't forget to turn on notifications, because when that flash drive leaks, you'll hear it here first. Because if Rasheeda's writes, if the truth really does live on that drive, then trust me, the real finale hasn't even begun.